Okay, welcome everybody. We're excited that you're here. This is another Equipment Zone training webinar. And today we will be providing an overview of the Easy Rip Pro software. I'm really excited to get into this because we're going to share more details about our industrial strength software. It's new. It was designed and built for expert level DTG sharing. And in order to make this happen, I have two special guests. One that you can see on my screen to the left, which is Geoff Baxter. Geoff is standing in front of those two glorious printers and a dryer in our Equipment Zone Solutions Center. Geoff, welcome. Welcome from New Jersey. How are you?
Thanks, Jay. I'm doing great. How are you doing?
I'm excited to be here. I'm excited for this webinar. And though you may not be able to see him, you will definitely hear him and see his screen. We're also joined by Tim Williams. Tim, are you there?
Yes, sir, I am. How you doing?
Absolutely great. So glad that you guys are able to join me today because, like I said, without the two of you, I wouldn't have much of a webinar today, let's be honest. So thrilled that you're here. Geoff, your role is really to help this F3070 project take flight. You have such a great industrial DTG and analog printing history that we're just thrilled to have you here. And what else should I say about you? I mean, you're like, approaching icon status. Is that too much? Did I go too far, Geoff Baxter?
I think I may just be the oldest printer in the business, probably at this point, Jay. My real claim to fame is I printed the I Survived the Nina shirts for Chris Columbus when he came over, and just kind of came out of that. So.
Nice. Okay, well, listen, and Tim is here. And Tim, you are one of our technicians. You have helped take the lead on this software. And as far as I know, for my money, you're the guy that I trust in showing us what button does what and why. So thrilled to have you both here. You are the two that are going to make this happen. And today it's really an overview. The software itself is called Easy Rip Software. And yeah, I noticed that too. Thank you, Greg. Geoff, your volume changed somewhat on the audio. So sorry, guys, this is, we test this and retest this and test this again, and it was perfect 5 minutes ago. And so Geoff, why don't you talk to us and say hello to our audience again?
Hey, hello out there. Can everybody hear me? Is this any better?
It's better. It's just kind of muffled, but I think it might be the volume is a little loud, but
close. Maybe I can move it a little further away. Does that make any difference?
It's a little bit better for me. I hope our audience agrees. Let's see what the audience says. It's really up to them.
What do you guys think out there? Can you hear me now?
They're saying it's about the same, not great, no improvement. Well, this might be the best that it gets. You can hear them, correct? Can you hear Geoff? Can you hear Tim?
But if I move it a little further away, does that help at all? Or
yes. That actually is better. Right there.
With it, but I'll hold it here.
Can you clip it to your button or your shirt right there? If that's, I know that might seem awkward, but maybe that's a better move.
It's referred to as way awkward, Jay, but I'll put it on there. We'll try it.
That looks good. I think, keep talking. Let's see if it's better.
How about now? Does it sound better now, Jay?
It does sound better. Yes, thank you. All right. So with the technology we have, new microphones that we've invested in, it always comes down to go live and you never know what you're going to get. So thank you to our audience. They all agree it is much better, Geoff. So thank you very much. Appreciate you guys putting up with us. As I was about to say, this is the overview. So the goal here, Geoff, and correct me if I'm wrong, we really wanted to highlight the 4 key areas that the Equipment Zone, we call it Easy Rip Pro software, how this RIP software is going to impact the DTG audience, our users, and certainly we have our clients. We hope we have several future clients, but let's give the overview as it stands now. We're going to talk about, number one, some color reproduction. Then we're going to talk about how this RIP is going to save money, specifically showing some examples of how it's going to save users money. Number 3, the on-ramp to DTF, direct to film transfers. And number 4, finally, we're going to just tease you, but we will show you that this is also the on-ramp to an integration that we call the workflow. And the easy workflow is an automation system with a barcode. And Geoff's going to dive in a little bit more specific about that. Geoff, did I get the 4 points correct?
I think you covered it. I mean, obviously, there's a lot more about this RIP that we love, Jay, but those are the things that are really highlights, and I think that really show people where the real value is in this product.
I love that. And for those of you that are listening and watching live, and also anybody that's going to listen to this recorded session after the fact, we will definitely be going into deeper detail in different webinars, future webinars that are coming up in days and weeks on each one of these topics. So look for 4 more webinars where we're going to be able to dive in deep, specifically on color reproduction, specifically on saving in ink, specifically with DTF and some instructions on how to do it. With both printers, by the way, and then also showing in greater detail the workflow automation. Okay, let's see. I got a note from Amy. Let's hope it's important. You know, she's not going to normally text me in the middle of this, so I believe it will be worthy of me checking my phone live. She has a suggestion to tell the audience that there will be an on-site event in November. That's such an Amy move. Thank you, Amy, for reminding me. For those of you that are in the tri-state area, you can actually come down and see all of this live sometime in November. So thank you, Amy. Okay, Geoff, I'm going to turn it over to you and Tim, and I've given you both controls. So Tim, why don't you take it away first, and then Geoff, jump in if there's anything there to make this magic happen. Let's start with the color reproduction.
Right. So I'm going to go ahead and open the file that we've been using, or we will be using to do color reproduction, or to show how well this software interprets colors through the printer. Now, I have a PDF that hold on one second. I just need to get it open and share it properly.
So what we're looking at now is we're seeing the interface, right, of the Easy Rip Pro software, and there's Tim's desktop. And so what I know what you're going to do. You were going to show us the side-by-side comparison. Thank you. Thank you.
So what I wanted to highlight here, I'm clicking fast, excuse me. What I wanted to highlight here is how well, you know, Garner Creator does a great job interpreting colors and putting ink down on shirts. But what the Easy Rip Pro does, it interprets neutral colors and skin tones much differently and more effectively, in my opinion. As you can see on the left, we have the Easy Rip Pro print, 12x6 at a 4-pass, and the woman's face on the far left versus the Garner Creator at the same settings. On the far left, you notice how she's much more neutral and her skin tone looks more realistic. That's one of the main advantages with the Easy Rip Pro and color reproduction is you get much clearer skin tones, and the way that the rip interprets fades from color to dark is much smoother.
Yeah, that's a noticeable difference, especially I can see differences in all 4 of these models. And did I understand you correctly, Tim, that this is the same settings? In other words, the only variable that's truly different is the RIP software. We have the same shirt, we have the same pre-treatment process, we have the same printers, et cetera.
Mm-hmm.
Wow.
Jump in for just a second, Jay. I've got a couple of favorite parts about this that I think are really nice, in that it generates the white underbase in a very different fashion. So if you look at the vignettes or the way that those colors fade out, it's not near as abrupt an ending. You can see on the left print of the Easy Rip Pro print that we've got very nice smooth gradations in the skin tones. It's not blotchy. It's very clean. So you've got not only I think a better profiling and a much better reproduction, especially with very critical colors. You know, your neutral grays, your flesh tones, anything that we would consider a tertiary color. Much better profiling, but we also have a much better gradation in the tones, so that we don't get that abrupt fall off. We get a very smooth fade out of the vignettes, so that everything comes out really clean, almost photographic in its approach. So it's just that power user next level up over what Garment Creator is. And Garment Creator, again, you know, to repeat Tim, it's a great program. You know, I've worked with a lot of different companies, including time at Cornette and M&R and other companies. I think for an onboard RIP, Garment Creator is as good as it gets. I mean, it's intuitive, it's easy to use, but this is that power user program that takes you up to the next level and can give you much better tonal gradations, much better color management and things of that nature. So I think next level.
I think as I look at the screen here, one of the things that jumps off at me is it's almost as if Garment Creator is using too much white. And I'm sure I'm not saying that technically correct, but as the as the just, you know, the odd guy out looking at these, I look at the model on the right and I look at her shoulder and look at the way the light comes down over her shoulder. On the Easy Rip Pro on the left print, it's just a smoother fade with less white showing. And on the Garment Creator on the right, there's a significant more, yeah, that one, there's a lot more white showing and it just kind of doesn't fade as well. So, I mean, I got to say, Geoff, you know what you're talking about, because what you just described is exactly what I'm looking at. So, so that's my way of complimenting you, Geoff Baxter. Okay. So what else have we got, Tim? I mean, that's an amazing example. And by the way, it's 1200 by 600. That's the DPI setting, correct?
Yes, 1200 by 600, and we're doing 4 passes of ink.
Okay.
Now, I mean, that is every dot on the print gets hit 4 times. The more passes you include, the obviously more ink you put down, which would, you know, increase costs. So with that being said, I'm going to show you another design that we've been using with great success in here, this motorcycle print. I think, hold on, I need to get my PDF back up here. And we printed this through the RIP and through Garment Creator with, you know, varying results. And what the most drastic thing here is the cost between the two. While the RIP software does a better job with the printer on the edge, on the, you know, you can see how here it's very clean, it's a smooth, you know, gradation to nothing. Over here, there's a lot more white ink around the edge, which kind of creates that gray tone, which for most people it would be acceptable, but you know, you always want to be that, you know, go that next level and have that nicer print. So we have on the left, which it's again the same exact print settings. You have 1200 by 600, 4 pass, and in Garment Creator that's about a level 3, 1200 by 600, 4 pass. And you can see that the cost through Garment Creator over on the right side of the screen here is $1.48. Then through the Easy Rip Pro on the right left side of the screen, the total cost is $1.24, total ink cost. So there's a pretty drastic cost difference with an improved finished print quality. In my opinion, I think it looks much better. That's not to say, obviously, again, that the Garment Creator print is not acceptable. This one just is an improvement.
Yeah, I would agree. What do you say, Geoff Baxter?
Yeah, I have to agree entirely. And I think though that I think it's an equal plus here on this design, both between the quality of the graphic and the cost saving, because I find the fade out for any of the RIPs, that transition on a dark shirt, especially where we're going from nothing into the graphic where it should really fade out to 0. Most of them have a really hard time creating that vignette or that fade out. And you can see that on the right side in Garment Creator, in that that should have not really had a white halo around it. That wasn't in the design. That is a limitation of its ability to create that fade out completely. So if you look at the left side, we've got a much nicer vignette. You don't have that halo all the way around the shirt. I think that makes a huge difference. So I think the graphic is an enormous difference, but at the same time, that price difference, and it's, you know, I've had arguments lately with people who will say, well, you know, the RIP isn't going to change a RIP's a RIP. It's not going to change the pricing of the garment or the ink consumption, but that's just simply not true. You know, if you really understand color theory and you go into additive versus subtractive theory and separation technologies or theories, the way that we create the white underbase in the RIP is very different. And so what it's doing, especially, and you're going to see these cost savings more in dark or black shirts or shirts that have a lot of white ink coverage and on a darker shirt. You're not going to notice it near as much on a white shirt because, you know, our cost savings is going to come from white ink savings. If you look at the way this is designed, it's a very different format that they've used to write the algorithm for the creation of the white underbase. And what it does is even obvious here, and that we don't have that white halo, that's saved white ink, and white ink is the most expensive part of what we're doing. But it also is designed in a fashion so that it uses as much of the underbase or the color of the garment as possible in as little white ink. And I could spend the next 3 hours boring you with how and why it does.
No, Jeff, let's not do that today. Let's have that lined up for another webinar. But two questions I have for you before Tim, in a minute, as soon as I'm done asking this question, will you be able to zoom into the bottom, like near the kickstand, where we can actually look at the text, the finer detail, maybe the Speed Treater logo or the Equipment Zone logo? You can zoom in. Jeff, the question I have for you though is, I mean, you explained it, but for someone like me who doesn't really understand all of that subtractive and additive color theory, the bottom line for me, kind of the, just average Joe user, it looks like it's putting down less white ink. Now, is that real? Is that where the savings comes from?
Absolutely. The white's the most expensive component we're working with here. And if I reduce that, it doesn't take a whole lot to change the price of the print. A great example, and that doesn't sound like a lot. But on this print alone, we saved 24 cents when we went from Garment Creator to Easy Rip Pro. 24 cents per shirt. This machine's easily capable of 50 shirts an hour on a dark shirt. That's, every 2 hours, you're going to save $24. You take that over a day, within a couple of weeks, you've paid for the rip and the upgrade, and it's yours now. So it's a substantial, if you calculate that over a day, even on a, say we're going to print 300 shirts a day, I'm going to call it 25 because it's easier to multiply.
I can do that math myself. Yes, I agree. Appreciate that.
$75 a day in savings. You take that over a year, and it's a substantial amount of money that goes back in your pocket. So it really, truly does make a big difference. And again, it depends on the shirt, the graphic, the color, and so forth. But it can be a substantial. I've seen up to 30% savings on ink consumption on some of these prints.
Wow, I was just going to ask you that. So up to 30% is a significant savings. Now, Tim, I was going to ask you, this is a tri-blend, right? Both shirts are the exact same quality. It's a Sanmar or a Port Authority tri-blend. Is that right?
They are district tri-blends.
Oh, district. Okay. Okay. So again, all things being equal, they were pre-treated the same, printed the same. The only difference is, in this case, we're printing on the F3070. And the true difference is the RIP software, correct? There's no other smoke and mirrors or magic that you're using?
Absolutely not. Everything is the same aside from the software that interpreted the graphic.
Yeah, I don't know about you guys, but it even almost looks like the black pops a little bit. Like it's even like a deeper or richer tone in the blacks. And I can certainly see, I want to say almost more detail, like in the tire tread. Yeah, it's pretty good.
Absolutely.
And again, Jay, that's because we've reduced the amount of white going down. We're not putting white under the black, pasteling or graying the black, and also gives you a much nicer surface to print on. So using less white, you're getting better colors, much better detail, especially in those dark areas.
Yeah, that's my take on this. I wish I could see these live like everybody else watching. We could see them side by side, but this is a great representation. Well, listen, that helps us a lot on saving money and the color accuracy. I think it does both. It does justice for, and we've all dealt with these types of designers and end users. The clients are specific with what they want. The buyers want what they want. If you're dealing with somebody in NASCAR, they have a specific color that they're trying to hit. So I'm going to guess, Geoff Baxter, that this would give us a little bit more, how would I position that? A little bit more, I can hit those colors. Is that fair to say?
I think it'll give us a lot more control.
Control. That's the word I was looking for. More control.
Simple rip to use, Jay, just real quick. It is also very robust in that there are tons of settings. Once you become a power user, you can adjust yourself. And at the same time, you can use a pull down menu to pick a colored, a white or a black shirt. And it'll have pre-settings. It'll take you right to what you want to do most of the time.
Excellent. Okay, well then, what do we have next, Tim? What have you got lined up for us?
So I believe we were going to go through a little of the DTF process. Is that what we want
Correct.
to talk about?
Yeah, that would be great. That's our third point in our on-ramp to DTF. There's been a lot of buzz building about direct to transfer or direct to film. And so, yeah, if you could give us just enough to know that this really does automate that or simplify that, or it works, that's what I think everybody's going to want to see.
I'm going to grab the right logo here. Over here on the left side is where you would find your the graphic you wanted to print. So that's why I'm kind of staring at this side of the screen. 1 second. I believe this is the one. Okay. So in order to print a DTF graphic, you have only a few settings that we need to change within the RIP, and it becomes possible to print DTF. You want to select the black light setting here. Make sure your platen is correct up here. On this print adjustment tab, we're just going to turn down the underbase because you don't want to put too much ink down that it becomes a flood of ink. So, we'll change it this way. We'll change the highlight white again because we don't want to have too much ink put down. Now, the 3070 obviously prints in one pass. So in order to do DTF prints, you have to turn that feature off because you want the printer to print the color first and then put the white ink on the top of that. So we need to reverse the order, first color, then white here. Go into the properties tab right about here. And under device options, we turn off one pass. And for our particular machine, we have to adjust the feed registration. That's going to vary by user. That's something that is a little bit of trial and error. We'll hit OK here. And then hit OK once we turn off the one pass, turn first color, then white. Hit OK. And then the final step is to make sure that we mirror the image because you want it to be a reverse. We're literally reversing the order and reversing the print so that it prints on film. So when you transfer it, obviously, it's now right side up. And at that point, after the film is loaded onto the platen, you're ready to just print. And I'm not going to go ahead. I mean, you hit print, select your printer.
Right.
And that's it.
So a good question just popped up, and I was going to ask this question. This software would allow you to do DTF on both the F2100 as well as the F3070?
Absolutely. And in fact, setting it up for the F2100 is a little bit simpler because you don't have to turn off that one pass feature that the 3070 requires. So it's less clicks. We go to print, 2100, we select production now. We still want to change the underbase and the highlight settings.
Gotcha.
And then obviously make sure that you mirror the image. And now we'll hit print, send it to the 2100, and carry out the process for DTF, applying your powder, sending it through the conveyor, dryer, heat press, however they're choosing to do that.
Tim, I don't mean to interrupt you, but your microphone definitely just changed, and it changed for the worse. So I don't know if somebody's helping you, or if you moved the mic down a little bit. It's definitely sounds like you've got a sweatshirt over your microphone or something. So folks, for those of you listening, we apologize. We really do try to work these things out before we go live. So I don't know what to say. I don't know if, Tim, you can modify that or move that or turn the volume down or set your mic a little lower, but it does not sound like it sounded 10 minutes ago.
Does it sound the same?
That's a little bit better. Keep talking.
How does that sound? Am I clearer now? Am I better?
It's just really, it's really loud, and it's not better. It's different.
I apologize that happened.
There you go. There you go. What did you do right there? Keep talking. You sound great.
Turn the volume down a little bit. So
yeah, the volume must have been jacked up. I mean, seriously, it was too loud. So I love the fact that what you said was, before I rudely interrupted you because of the audio levels, that this will work. Now somebody else just chimed in and said, what about that to F2000? So if we do have some legacy users with the first DTG printer that Epson put out, the F2000, Geoff or Tim, do you know the answer to that question?
So I believe it is possible. Hold on a second. We don't have a 2000 here that I can show you, but it is possible. And I would assume that you would select 2000. We're going to select
Gotcha.
black media and then mirror the image. I don't
Okay.
have a 2000 here to show, so that's why I'm getting this error.
No, understood. I just wanted to make sure for the sake of the audience that somebody asked if it would be compatible with the F2000. So I know that it is for the 2100 and I know that it is for the 3070. That was just a curveball because somebody had asked. Also, we had somebody ask, go ahead, Jeff, sorry.
It's fully compatible with the 2000 as well.
Okay, perfect. So yes, fully compatible. You are welcome for asking that question, and I'm glad that we have the answer. I had another question earlier on, and I saved it to this moment. Is this software going to work on a Mac?
No, unfortunately, this is strictly for PCs. It will not run on a Mac.
Okay, so that is our answer. We apologize to those of you who might have hoped and had dreams that it would work on a Mac, but it's PC driven, and now we know the answer. All right, so we've got our color reproduction. We saw that. We saw the savings in ink. We can see that this is the on-ramp to DTF printing. I was wondering, Tim, do you have an example? Maybe you could turn off your screen and just show us that transfer, or is that something Jeff can do?
Jeff can do that.
Sure can.
Oh, you've got it, you sneaky.
So
wasn't
basically what we've got here, same image that Tim had on screen a minute ago, but we set it up as a step and repeat. We've printed it. Obviously, it has to, as he set it up, print reverse order because we're printing from this side and transferring. This is the opposite side. So we've printed the colors, we've added the adhesive, and now we've got a great transfer. DTF is really a hot topic right now. And I think while I would never, and I don't think we'd ever promote buying an F3070 to just be a DTF printer, there are faster, more efficient ways to do this. One of the great things is that this allows you to optimize your printer and to print a little bit of everything. Get into some very difficult fabrics. We've printed on wetsuit material with this stuff and it's held up beautifully. We've done actually the sleeve for prosthetic limbs, 100% polyester t-shirts, performance fabric. So a lot of things that would not DTG well, all of a sudden that brings it into the realm of a straight DTG machine. So you buy one machine, it covers the entire basis that way, or it covers all the different bases.
Yeah, I love that. That increased versatility is huge. We had several people also say, what about for the tags in the t-shirts, instead of having whatever brand label, you can cut those tags out and put in if you had a step and repeat sheet like that, smaller logos, you could easily heat apply those as a personalized t-shirt.
Yep, absolutely. And that's how most of even Under Armour does their branding is it's a heat transfer that goes in the back of the garment. So
wow, that would make me a very excited F2100 user. If I knew that I could have that control, if I knew that I could save the money, and if I knew that I could, in a couple of clicks, have the DTF opportunity. I mean, Geoff Baxter, I know we're not here to pitch. I know you're not trying to sell me anything. This is just an overview, but boy, I'm getting warm. I'm reaching for my wallet. What else is there that we should know? Because I know that there's more, right?
Yeah, absolutely. So Easy Rip Pro now, we are featuring the barcode software, the Easy Workflow through this software as well, which allows you to create a database of files located on your computer or on a network somewhere, print out those barcodes, put them on either the garments themselves or the work order or wherever you can create a book of all these different barcodes, scan them. It'll automatically reference the file location and send it directly to the machine. And all you got to do is hit the print button at that point. So we've got our two barcode scanner windows here. So we have two 3070s programmed at the moment.
Right. Is that something, Tim, that you can show on your screen, or should we just wait for Jeff to work his magic?
Sorry about that. I actually thought I had my screen.
No, that's okay. I had asked you to yeah, there you go. Now we can see it.
So the barcode software is now, I lost one of them. Hold on a second. Apologies here.
No problem.
I want to make sure I have all of my windows open. There we go. So we have two 3070s and two 2100s here, and each one of those machines is able to be programmed to this barcode automation software. So we've got number one and number two. And as I said, they what the software does is it pulls the graphics, the pre-ripped Easy Rip Pro files from a database and sends it to whichever machine is selected up here. So I don't know. We don't want to show the database at the moment. Was that for the deep
Well,
dive?
we'll definitely go into a deeper dive on this. We just wanted to give a brief overview. If you want to flash your screen and show the barcode, that's fine too. Because we're going to dedicate a whole webinar just to this. But go ahead, Geoff.
Okay. Yeah, I just wanted to go kind of through it real quick because I'm really excited about this part of this. First, I think we need to clarify that it is not part of the RIP. It is a standalone module. So you would need the RIP in order to use the workflow automation system. You would not necessarily buy just the workflow automation. You have to have both of them. But the RIP is functional without. This does some great stuff though. It helps you eliminate misprints because if you have the right sticker on the right shirt, there's no way that your press operators can make a mistake on loading the right shirt. So I could have a stack of 300 shirts, and if each one had their own barcode on it, each one will unquestionably get the right artwork positioned correctly in the right place every time. So it eliminates misprints. The other thing it does, it speeds up the process dramatically because those files are ripped elsewhere. So rather than sending it, waiting for it to rip, and then printing, which can be a 15 to 25 to 30-second process, it will immediately load that ripped file. So that's all done elsewhere, taking it away. You're only making money when these printers are printing, not when they're processing. And the third thing is it takes all the decision-making out of the press operator's hands. Those decisions are made elsewhere. So the press operator doesn't have to go, well, I'm going to pick a black shirt. I'm going to run it at 600 by 1200. I'm going to do this. I'm going to place it here. I'm going to do a left chest. All that is encrypted into the file. So I scan the barcode, it pops up. I hit the print button. I don't have to think. All I have to do is load a t-shirt. So I think it makes a huge difference. We've got it on this machine, and just to show it to you real quick, we've put a barcode on every machine in the shop, which is a little bit different than the way a lot of the others work. We don't need a computer on all the different machines. We just need a barcode. So by scanning it, I'm going to identify this as the machine that I want to route that graphic to. We've just stuck the barcodes on the front of the machine. They belong on either the t-shirt or the work order, but we run these all the time. So then we can just scan that. It will load. It's already loaded, ready to print, and we're ready to go. So I won't bore you with the print, but you can see how easy and efficient and how quick this is.
Well, that's impressive. I love the point that you made, Geoff, about the decrease in the load time. I don't know if that's, what is that normally, buffering the file, or it's going?
It's literally ripping the file, which is processing it to be printed properly, or converting it to a language the printer can understand. But we've already done that. That's been done offline, so it's not interfering with the production workflow process. It's done elsewhere. So all we do here is produce t-shirts.
So, I mean, over the course of 100 shirts, if you're saving 10 to 15 seconds on each one, again, not only are we going to help you save money, but this product, this Easy Rip Pro software, is literally saving you time.
Absolutely. It's going to save you money on the print and increase your throughput, which is going to make you more money. So there's value all the way around.
Well, I love that you highlighted that. And I can see those brilliantly bright geckos coming off the printer. I'm still blown away by how fast that print. Every time I see it, I can't help but think, how is this possible? I mean,
loads quick. So you're averaging on a black shirt, you should be able to easily average 50 plus shirts an hour on this machine.
Fantastic job, guys. Thank you for sharing that. And so for those of you that have tuned in, I do want to give just a quick shout out to our team in New Jersey. We trust me when I say we practiced this. We checked our audio several times. And sometimes you just, no matter what you do, you get what you get. And we're thrilled that you stayed with us, that you tuned in today. I also want to make sure that you know that in the very short upcoming days and weeks, we will have more in-depth webinars on each one of these topics. Geoff Baxter and Tim Williams, you guys did a phenomenal job of helping set this up. To our camera person and audio check engineer, Vanessa Nilsson. Vanessa's done a fabulous job as well. So think about this. For those of you tuning in, we will have 4 upcoming webinars. One will be more in-depth color production, reproduction, and another one will show how we're going to be able to save that ink, save money on the ink. Another one's going to be DTF specific, step-by-step instructions going from start to finish. And then we definitely are going to dive in deeper on this complete workflow barcode automation, what gets Geoff excited at night. Right, Geoff? Isn't that fair to say?
It is. No question about it.
Well, listen, for everybody who tuned in, I'm grateful for your time. It was an overview. I am going to share my screen for just a second because we've already had people asking. And so I might as well share this. It is not yet up on our website. It will be very soon. Vanessa and I have a few more things to fix and add. But since these are the truths, the pricing is what people want to know. So the Easy Rip Pro for the Epson F2100, the list price is $1,200 per printer. And that's an important distinguishing factor, isn't it, Geoff? Per printer.
Absolutely. You have one license per printer. So if you have multiple printers, you'll need multiple rips or licenses to run them.
And it is going to be a little bit more for the F3070. The Easy Rip Pro software for the Epson F3070 is $2,400 per printer. So I know that everyone was going to ask that anyway. It is not yet live on our website, but I'm giving those of you who have a sneak peek today to let you know. I also want to make sure that people can understand that they will be able to watch this recorded session. And we're going to have upcoming webinars, again, as I've already explained, to dive in a little bit deeper with more details, more complete storytelling with more samples. Please check that out on YouTube. But if anybody has any more questions specific to this software, I highly recommend you get in touch with first Geoff Baxter. Geoff's going to take the lead on this. He's got all of the details. He's got all of the experience. Tim, we give you some credit too for being an awesome operator and helping us figure out these. So between the two of these gentlemen, you will definitely get all of your answers. So reach out to them via email. Let them know that you watched today and you appreciate them as much as I do. Because as I said earlier, none of this would have happened without them. Geoff, is there anything else we should say before we close?
Jay, I don't think so. I think it's just that it's a great product, and I think it's a real upgrade when you're ready to become a power user or to take it to the next level.
I love the fact that, Geoff, you said once to me, you said, this printer is going to close the gap. This printer is, it's why you're here. I think you even said it that way. Would that be a stretch?
Absolutely. I call it the missing link. It's the product that prints at a reasonable speed, at a reasonable price of consumables to infiltrate or to actually encroach upon the screen printing business. It can do things screen printing can do, but easier and faster and with a whole lot less experience.
And it sure seems like with this new software, it's going to even give us more flexibility, more control. And I'm just excited to have this product. So tip of the cap to all of you who've worked so hard to develop this and to get this going. And so that's all we've got for today. I want to say thank you again to those of you who tuned in, and we'll say goodbye to Geoff and Tim and everybody in New Jersey. Take care, be safe. And as Amy reminded me, there will be a live in-person event in November. So we'd love to have you come down and see this for yourself. And for everybody who does, you're going to walk away with some samples. You're going to get some goodies. So anyway, look for that on our website, and we will see everybody soon. Take care. Bye-bye.